Today, Senator Grassley and some other Republicans on the panel, including Josh Hawley, the guy who raised his fist in solidarity with the gathering mob on January 6th, spent their time with the current Attorney General, Merrick Garland, misrepresenting the facts surrounding the memo. You just heard Senator Grassley mention a minute ago what he called the school board memo. Now, before we go any further, here's what the memo actually said. This is a memo from the Attorney General dated October 4th to the FBI Director, U.S. attorneys, and the head of the Department of Justice's Criminal Division. Quoting from the subject line, quote, partnership among federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial law enforcement to address threats against school administrators, board members, teachers, and staff. It goes on to direct the FBI to convene meetings with those officials to discuss strategies for handling the rise in criminal conduct against school personnel, which, if you've been watching the news lately or involved in your community, you know is a real thing. Now, what has the senators upset is that the memo came several days after the National School Boards Association, not the FBI, the National School Boards Association, wrote a letter to the president in which it likened some of the threats and actual violence to, quote, their words, a form of domestic terrorism and hate crimes. Now, that association has since apologized for its choice of words, which drew a very negative response, understandably. And this is key. Nothing in the memo by the Attorney General Garland, not one single line, refers to parents as potential domestic terrorists. In fact, there's no mention of parents or terrorism at all in this menu, none. So with that, listen to Tennessee Republican Marsha Blackburn, how she characterized what Garland wrote.
I just have to ask you, knowing that you really helped bring to justice those that caused the Oklahoma City bombing, would you really honestly put parents in the same category as a Terry Nichols or a Timothy McVeigh?
My God, absolutely not.
Then why would you ever release a memo? I mean, did you write that memo? Did staff write that memo? What would have led you to do this? It is so over the top.
He didn't do that, and it isn't. But when Garland said correctly that there's nothing in the memo like that, Senator Blackburn replied, and I quote, that may be your opinion. Actually, it's not. It's actually just what was in the memo. Democrat or Republican, fan of the administration or not, facts are facts and words are words, and there's not a single word, phrase, comparison, or insinuation on this page that parents are domestic terrorists. There's just not. The only insinuations were coming from Senator Blackburn or, of course, Senator Cruz got in on it.
This is a memo to the Federal Bureau of Investigations saying, go investigate parents as domestic terrorists.
Then there was Senator John Kennedy.
You don't think there are parents out there in the real world that said, oh my God, maybe we shouldn't go to the school board meeting, there'll be FBI agents there?
And Senator Josh, I raised my fist for insurrectionist, Hawley.
It's wrong. It is unprecedented, to my knowledge, in the history of this country, and I call on you to resign.
Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas also called on the Attorney General to resign.
This is
That's wrong.
Shameful. Judge, this is shameful. This testimony, your directive, your performance is shameful.
That's not correct.
Thank God you are not on the Supreme Court. You should resign in disgrace, Judge.
We should note that 3 of those you just heard from are said to be considering a run for president based on their performance today. Maybe auditioning would be the better word.